Welcome to Building a Powerhouse Brand. I'm Jackie Laws, brand strategist, mentor, designer, author and founder of brand agency Bailey & Rue. My mission for this podcast is to support other women to build a magnetic personal brand and a business that allows you to have both financial and time freedom. Building your personal brand is not just about those visuals, it's about setting the stage as the real you and a magnet for those dream clients. Join me and my incredible guests as I dive into the strategies, insights, and stories behind building a successful brand. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a marketer, or simply intrigued by brand building, this podcast is your roadmap to success. Tune in each week as I explore branding, innovation, and influence, and join me on this adventure as we unleash the power of personal branding. Visit baileyandrue.com for more insights and follow me on Instagram at baileyandrue. This is Becoming a Powerhouse Brand. Hi guys, I wanted to do a podcast episode on sharing my journey as an entrepreneur, not just to tell you all about my life and my experience, all this kind of thing, but to actually highlight the fact that there are so many twists and turns as an entrepreneur and growing your own business. Like there is no one set path or journey that you will go on. Like, and no matter how much of a strategy you have as a business owner, you cannot predict what is going to happen. And there is so much change that happens in terms of like actually growing and scaling your business. So I just thought it'd be really good to talk a little bit more in depth with that about you. Cannot speak today. Talk about that in more depth today on this podcast. So obviously I'm a creative myself, like I always have been my entire life. I've always been that creative child. I know I've already covered that in a previous episode, but I just wanted to highlight the fact that I am a very creative person. Like my brain is just always on the go. I'm always looking for the next thing to get my teeth into. And I instantly started my business when I was on maternity leave, when the opportunity came along to be creative, like creating these amazing wedding stationery designs for a couple of friends that were getting married. And I fell into having my own business. So if we just backtrack a little bit more, I technically started my own business when I was 17 as a wedding photographer. Again, fell into it. I was asked to photograph a wedding, set up my own business, but it was very much like a side hustle thing. It was never like a serious business. I did do a website because as a creative, I jumped straight in with a logo design, website design, and got some business cards done. But it was very much like on the side, didn't really talk about it with work because I didn't want my work to like think of it as getting in the way of my job. Even though it was only at weekends, I didn't take time off for it. So technically I started when I was 17, but properly starting, I did start it in 2016. So when I first started my business, I did it in our study at the time. It was kind of a study playroom thing. And I was doing it around our first child. So she was a little baby at the time and just juggling all the things. Like I would be up until 3 o'clock in the morning working on projects. My pricing was all off. So I was attracting people that just didn't have the money to work with me, basically. Like I was working for peanuts. Like the profit was just non-existent because there were so many costs going out on the print costs. It just wasn't really a sustainable business, but I very quickly like knew this. So I spent a lot of time figuring out what it was I wanted to do, made loads of mistakes in terms of like investing in things in my business. Like I would spend so much money, like we're talking hundreds of thousands of pounds on print costs for things I didn't really need. Like I don't know why I did that, but I had no sort of there was no membership. There was no place that I had this kind of supportive community or anything. I didn't even know that kind of thing existed at the time. I was very much doing it on my own. Like I didn't know anybody that had their own business that I could ask for support. I was very much kind of going with the flow and winging it. And it just didn't work out. And then I came across it was like a membership group and they had in-person events and stuff, and it was for people in the wedding industry. So I started going along to these and I was like, oh my God, I didn't even realize these kinds of things existed. obviously as time's gone on, I've seen there are so many of these kinds of communities around there to support entrepreneurs and business owners in their business growth, to have that community there, that supportive network. Um, but when you're first starting out, you just have no idea of this. All you know about is that there are obviously loads of people selling on Etsy and eBay, and that felt like kind of the only way to go, especially as a creative. Like I just didn't even really think of this being any bigger than that, or like in person, like those personal recommendations. So anyway, went along with this membership and going on these workshops where they were talking about things like marketing, and bearing in mind I came from a marketing and brand background. I just did not link that with being an entrepreneur at all. Like that was very much, I was from a corporate background, like that worked really well because they were a big corporate business. Like all the businesses I worked for were big businesses, or even the smaller like agency model worked with big businesses. Like to me, having a brand wasn't important as an individual. Like I was just working from home, like around my baby. Like I didn't need a brand. Oh my gosh, was I wrong? And yeah, it was just so interesting going along to these kinds of events. And I went to more and more of them. I was going to these in-person connection, like party things and networking events and workshops, all of these things to actually help entrepreneurs all in the wedding industry at the time to scale their business and learn things like social media, how to use it, how to promote your business, how to get clients, how to speak to them through your copywriting, like all of this incredible, valuable stuff that helped me to really figure out what on earth I wanted to be doing. I've always been a really independent person. Like I never wanted to go to university. I always wanted to work. Like I wanted to have that independence, the financial independence to be able to sort of pay my own way. And I didn't want to have the student debt and all of this kind of thing. So to be able to then surround myself with these amazing women, like some of them were already really successful in their business. They were going to events like this purely for the connection. And it was so inspirational to hear from these people in all the different areas of the wedding business kind of industry, to actually understand like this actually could be a really successful business. And it really got the cogs turning in my brain and thinking like I need to think bigger. And ever since that first event I went on, I've always been thinking to myself, with everything I'm doing in my business, like I need to think bigger. I need to go on to the next thing. What is the next thing? And always having in the back of my mind, like where I'm going. Like I've never since then been winging it, because I came home from that first event and I was like, right, I've got to sort myself out. I cannot possibly run a business where I'm not even making any profit in it. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, why am I spending my time doing this? Um, so I really worked on like what was it I wanted to do? What did I want to be known for? What had I enjoyed about my business to that point? And what can I focus on? So from that, I then looked at rebranding. I rebranded my business myself, and I did invest in having a website designer who was like a leader in the wedding industry and actually still is in terms of website design. So I worked with her to really scale my business. I massively increased my prices because I wanted to create, I didn't want to just do cheap stationery. Like I wanted to create that show-stopping stationery that the kind of brides I really wanted to work with were just going to be like, wow, yeah, this is going to wow our guests. This is what I want. Like they were looking to pay top prices for high quality prints. They didn't want the whole low budget. They just need invites because they need to send invites out. Like they wanted the show-stopping invitations. Like some of my invitations I went on to create were like they were incredible. Like they were boxed acrylic things with real rose petals, and like it was just a complete other level to what I was previously creating in my business. And the transformation happened really quick. And the thing that happened the fastest was actually my own personal growth. Like you can't, unless you've been to these in-person events and actually surrounded yourself with these really inspirational women, you just can't picture the possibilities, especially when you have nobody around you that has their own business and you don't have that kind of support network. Like my family and my husband have always supported me, like always have, always will, but they don't get it because they don't have their own business. Like they don't see that side of it. They don't see that you have to invest quite a lot of money in terms of growing your business and things that you have to do and the launches that you have to go through, the fails, like all of this roller coaster journey. Like they don't have that personal connection to it. So it's really hard when you're doing everything on your own, and especially when you throw children into the mix as well, to do it all yourself. So when you come across these communities where there are other like-minded women that are going through the same kind of challenges as you or have been through that same kind of challenge, it is just so empowering to know that you are not alone in that whole process. Um, so anyway, I rebranded my business, massively scaled. I became multi-award winning very quickly. I was recognized as a leader in my field. But I got to a point in my business, having I invested a lot of money in my business. I really scaled very quickly. Like we're talking a matter of months. The first rebrand I did, it was just a few months from charging, I don't even know what I was charging, but I was doing invites for next to nothing. Like I literally was making no profit at all. Like my costs going out were sometimes more than what I had coming in because I had no business strategy. Like I was pricing stuff up based on what I thought people would pay rather than what it was going to cost me, and certainly wasn't factoring in the my hourly rate. I didn't even have an hourly rate at the time, like for my costs, the time, like the expertise, like all of this kind of stuff just was not happening. So started obviously charging my worth, like creating a profitable business that was really working. It scaled really quick. But I very quickly got to a point where I was just like, I want more. Like, I don't know what it is, but I just know that I need more in my life. Like, I know I need to take that next level with my business. Like, I want to have more success, but not just more success for me. Like, I want to help other people. And as much as I loved doing the wedding stationery, it just got to a point where it wasn't lighting me up anymore. Like, yes, I was creating amazing designs, and yes, my clients loved what I did, and yes, I was getting the incredible testimonials and the award wins and stuff, but I was just like, it's not creating the kind of results that I really wanted, not for myself, but for my clients. Like, I wanted to be helping people. So I started offering on the side of this business, and actually, it was still done under this same business for a while, branding for other businesses. So, using my expertise in design and understanding color psychology at the time, which I already did anyway, I'd already studied that, um, actually creating branding for small business owners. Now, I was charging hardly anything for these at the time, it was very affordable. But the transformation I was helping people with was really starting to kind of gel with like my purpose. I felt like I was really finding my purpose along my journey as an entrepreneur. So to be able to help people with building their branding and really scaling their own business, which then started leading to their own results. Like these people were working with me, going away, feeling more confident in their business, having the right messaging in place, messaging me to say, oh my God, I've just had a dream client booking. I'm so happy. Like, I'm really pleased I invested in working with you. This is the power of branding. Like, this kind of back and forth was repeatedly happening. And these were just obviously my first few clients I worked with for branding. And I was like, I feel like I could do something here. Like this is lighting me up way more than the wedding stationery is. I feel like I'm actually like I'm helping people to change their lives. If I can create this for small businesses that have a small budget to work on their branding, and I've not even done anything major here in terms of helping them build their brand, but I've done enough that's actually helping them to start securing higher paying clients. Imagine what I could do if I really put my time, energy, and effort into this. So that was when I launched my other business, Bailey and Rue, my brand agency. And I was just like, oh my God, this feels like what I was just born to do. And starting to get the clients in that were looking to seriously level up their business, actually transform what they had. They wanted success. They'd already invested in their business growth themselves. They'd been maybe on like courses, programs, workshops. They'd invested in various programs to help them to scale their business, like learn all the basics of marketing, all that kind of thing. And they were just like, I just feel like my branding's kind of out of alignment with where I want to be going. So I was then helping these women create next level brands for their business. And again, they were coming back to me saying, oh my God, I'm booking my dream clients. Like it's worked. Like this rebrand has actually created not just an attractive brand that is speaking to their ideal clients, but the confidence it was helping my clients with was just incredible. Like I used to do live branding sessions via Zoom where I was actually seeing my clients' faces as I was creating the branding for them in front of their eyes. And just seeing the change from the very first one, where some of them would come on these calls worried because they didn't really know what to expect, worried because they just invested money in working with me. But then by the end of it, their faces were just completely lit up, like the confidence that was oozing out of them. And I was just like, this is my purpose. And obviously, like a few years down the line, my business has just grown more and more. Like I've got to a point now where I am no longer just working on rebrands for people to help them scale the visuals, but actually working on those deeper layers of brand building. And obviously now launching my podcast where I'm empowering other people to really work on who it is that they are inside, like unleashing that inner powerhouse to build a magnetic brand. And not just in terms of those visuals, like those other layers, their messaging, all of the strategy, like everything that comes with building a brand. And when I actually look back now, like I did this the other day as an exercise, and I always get my clients to do this, is to actually look at the journey that you've been on as an entrepreneur, because it's actually quite incredible and it's so easy to overlook things, challenges that you've come through, like anything that you've done, the successes that you've had. Because we don't tend to focus on that. We're so focused as entrepreneurs on that next thing, like we need to get the next results. And like the whole way through my journey as an entrepreneur, I've always been focusing, right, what's next, how can I improve, what's the next level results, like how, where's my business going, what are my goals, what's my vision, all of this kind of stuff. I'm always focusing on that because that's also what I help my clients with. It's very easy to focus so much on that that you don't then spend any time focusing on where you've been. And I just feel like that is such an important part of your journey as a business owner, to really take a step back and look at where you've come from, that journey that you've been on in your business. Because when things aren't going so well and you feel like you're not getting anywhere, maybe you're not getting the sales, or those clients just aren't coming, or the clients are coming, but they're not quite the right ones for you. And you can feel a bit like, oh, it's just not working. I've done all this stuff, like I've invested in all this money, I've done all these things, I've rebranded, I've got my messaging, I feel like I've done all the things, I'm showing up. But you actually forget that how much you have achieved is actually incredible. Like even my clients that have only been in business a year, the transformation in the first year of running a business is insane. Like the first year of my own business was nuts. Like going from making zero profit, working till 3 o'clock in the morning with a baby, like absolutely sleep deprived and just mentally and physically exhausted all the time, again making no money, to then a year later matching my income from my full-time job, winning an award, having a brand that people were starting to recognize. It's like, that is just crazy, isn't it, that that can happen within a year. And I do think that it's different for everybody. Like some people might take longer to have those kinds of results, and like that's all part of your journey. And it's not, it's really focusing on the fact that there is no set path. There are twists and turns along every corner. And I have had so many launches that have failed, not failed, I don't like using that word, but not gone according to plan. But for every single one of those, I've taken something from it. Like I've learned, right, okay, that didn't go well. Let's look into it. Why did that not go so well? What did I do? What could I do differently next time? And each time that kind of thing happens, you then have that growth and change. And this is all what helps to build that business evolution, and really focusing on what lights you up, what is important to you. And the thing is that it will change, like as you sort of develop your own personal brand and you go through the own personal growth. Like I'm going through a transition at the moment where I'm really starting to build my next level personal brand at the minute, and it will happen again in a couple of years, and maybe again in a couple of years more. Like as you change as a person, as you, if you've got children and they start to get older, like you will change personally, your values will change, like your mission will change, your goals, all of this kind of thing will change. So naturally your brand will evolve as well. Like that is all part of building your own brand, and that is what's going to help you to become magnetic for those dream clients. And again, your dream clients change, like as your business evolves. That is so important to realize that your ideal client right now might not be who your ideal client is in 3 years' time. Like when I look at it now, 2 years ago, my ideal client was a product-based business that wanted photography and branding. I don't even do photography anymore. Like I art direct on shoots and I support my clients with taking that next level with my full rebrand experience, where we do things like the branding, the website, the shoot, the art direction for the shoots, the styling, all of that kind of stuff is included in my rebrand. But I don't personally do the photography anymore, but I did 2 years ago. And it's just seeing that that growth and change is all part of how your business is going to actually adapt and excel and get that next level success for you. So pivoting your business is not a big thing. Like it really isn't. I think if you ever get to a point in your business where you just feel like something's not aligned, something just isn't aligned with your values, maybe you want more, maybe what you're doing just is not filling with you with joy anymore, pivot. Like figure out what it is that you are passionate about. If it means that you work with somebody and you do it like as a not necessarily a freebie, but you do it like in terms of doing it from the heart and doing it from something that you are passionate about, in order to figure out if it is something that you truly want to be doing. Because if you're not energetically aligned to what it is that you're doing, this is going to show in all of your content, and that is not going to be able to connect those dream clients with wanting them to work with you. Like you need to love what it is that you're doing. You need to love your own brand, because otherwise, how can you expect those dream clients to want to invest their money in working with you if you don't even love your brand yourself? So actually focusing on that kind of thing and learning from any setbacks or failures that you've had, because they all shape your approach and your business as you move forward as an entrepreneur, and just navigating any kind of uncertainty. So if you're ever at a point in your business, like I just said, if you're just not feeling it in your business, something's not working, then work on it, like work on those deeper layers. And this is such an important part of building your brand, is actually finding out who you are, like internally, like who is it that you are inside, like because who you are right now will probably be different to who you were 5 years ago, and it'll be different again in another 5 years' time. And it's understanding what lights you up, what your values are, what your mission is, what is important to you. Like, who do you gel with? Who do you not gel with? Like, sharing all of this kind of content with yourself, journaling about it, actually identifying who you are and what lights you up. Like, what do you love about your business? What do you not like? What could you outsource? What could you cut altogether? Like, are there any services you are currently offering that are just no longer aligned to you and not lighting you up? Get rid of them, because you don't need to be offering services to people that are just not energetically aligned to you, because you're not going to be able to get those clients in anyway. And when you do, your energy is going to be so off that you'll actually, whilst it might have been an amazing like booking in terms of finances, you might get that booking and it might fill you with dread, because you're just like, oh my God, this is going to be a nightmare. Like, I hate doing these. It's going to take up X amount of time and I just don't feel aligned to this anymore. Like, I don't enjoy doing them. You're then not going to be creating that incredible, like high energy, high end experience with that client. So making sure that all of your offers are aligned with what you love, what you're passionate about, and actually being a really valuable service for your clients as well. So just focusing on your journey as an entrepreneur, like actually look at where you've come from, where you're going, like where you are right now, what feels good to you, celebrating the highs and lows of being an entrepreneur, because I think it's really important to focus on not just all the highs all the time, because particularly in the online world, we're surrounded by people celebrating wins and celebrating amazing clients, and oh my God, they've had a 6K launch and all of this stuff. And it's very easy when you're going through periods in your business growth that things aren't going so well, to just think that everybody around you seems to be thriving and that you're just not succeeding at the moment. But to know that every single one of those businesses have had failures. They might have had an amazing day today, but yesterday might have been a really rubbish day, and the following day might be a really rubbish day. But people aren't going to show loads of that kind of content because it's not inspirational, it's not motivational to want to work with them. So just remember, if you are going through those periods in your business where things just aren't feeling right, aren't going so well, that you actually spend some time really celebrating those successes that you have had and the journey that you have had at the moment, and spend time working on you. Like, no business is going to be successful. No entrepreneur is going to be successful if you are constantly in on mode all the time and just doing all of the things without taking any breaks. Like, you need to have that time to go and do things that you love, that light you up outside of your work, because if you're not giving yourself that time to actually enjoy doing those kinds of things with the money that you've made in your business, what is the point? Like, there's literally no point if you are literally working yourself to the ground to try and get bookings in, and when they're not coming, you feel really deflated and fed up with like how things are going or not going, that you're not then giving yourself that time to focus on how amazing you actually are. And I think it's just so important as an entrepreneur that you do allow yourself that me time, like once a week, a couple of times a week. Make sure you have weekends off, make sure you have week evenings off, like whatever it is in your life that's going to give you that freedom to actually have that special time that you get to switch off and not be in on mode all the time, because I promise you that is where the results come. I hope you have really enjoyed this episode today. I would love to know what you think. Please do listen to the next one and leave me a review if you've enjoyed it. I can't wait to record the next one. I've got some amazing guests coming on to talk about unleashing your inner powerhouse. So if working on your sort of inner self, that personal development, is something that you are interested in, or maybe it's even something you struggle with and would love to get some tips on how you even go about doing that, you want to stay tuned and listen to the next few episodes, because they are going to be gold. Speak to you later. Thank you for listening to this podcast episode. If you're ready to unlock the secrets of building your own personal brand, head over to my website, baileyandrue.com, where you can grab my free Brand Brilliance Blueprint today. It's your roadmap to success in the world of branding. And hey, let's stay connected beyond the podcast. Follow me on Instagram at baileyandrue for daily inspiration, behind the scenes insights, and exclusive content to fuel your brand journey. See you there.